Welcome everyone to today's episode. Hey, I'm Manya and I'm excited to delve into the world of mindfulness for kids. Joining me is our special guest, Kanishka, a mindful educator and author, and also from my school. Hey, Kanishka, welcome to our show.
Thanks, Manya. I'm delighted to be here and to share insights on such an important topic.
Let's start with the basics. What is mindfulness and why is it essential for children?
Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, paying attention to thoughts, feelings, and surroundings with judgment. For kids, it enhances emotional regulation, improves focus, and reduces anxiety.
Oh, that is a powerful introduction. But how can parents and educators begin to introduce mindfulness to children?
A great starting point is through simple breathing exercises. Teaching kids to take deep breaths helps them learn to center themselves. Activities like guided imagery and mindful storytelling can also be engaging.
Can you guide us through a simple breathing exercise now?
Sure, let's take a moment. Everyone can sit comfortably. Take a deep breath in through your nose, feeling your belly expand. Hold for a moment and then slowly exhale through your mouth. Let's do this a few times.
That was calming. How do kids typically respond to these exercises?
Well, most children find it enjoyable. It's a new way for them to interact with their feelings and very often feel refreshed afterwards.
And at what age do you think it's appropriate to start teaching mindfulness?
Well, you can start as early as preschool. Even toddlers can benefit from these simple activities that promote awareness and calmness.
And also, what about older children? Are there specific techniques you recommend for them?
For older kids, activities like journaling, yoga, or mindful walking work well. They enjoy structured practices that allow for self-expression and physical activity.
Oh, that's great. Let's discuss the emotional health aspect. How does mindfulness support emotional regulation in children?
Mindfulness teaches kids to recognize and understand their emotions, leading to healthier coping strategies. When they can acknowledge how they feel, they're less likely to act out or become overwhelmed.
That is so important. Do you have any success stories from your experience?
Oh, absolutely. I've worked with a great group of children who struggled with anxiety. After several mindfulness sessions, they showed significant improvements in focus and behavior, well, both at school and home.
Oh, incredible. How can parents integrate mindfulness into their daily routines? Do you have any idea?
Creating a mindfulness moment at home is a great idea. Maybe during dinner or before bedtime. Asking kids to share what they are grateful for or how they felt during the day fosters meaningful conversations.
And what resources do you recommend for parents wanting to learn more about mindfulness for their children?
There are excellent books, apps, and even websites now. Mindfulness for Kids by Kristen Race is a good read, and the app Headspace for Kids offers fun activities.
Oh, that's also great. Are there any misconceptions about mindfulness that you'd like to address?
A common misconception is that mindfulness means emptying your mind. In reality, it's about observing thoughts without attachment, which can particularly be challenging for kids.
That is a crucial distinction. Let's dive deeper. Can you explain how mindfulness can help improve focus in children?
Mindfulness Practices enhance concentration by training the brain to focus on the present moment. Techniques like mindful breathing can help kids tune out distractions and develop a greater attention span.
That is fascinating. How can teachers incorporate mindfulness into their classrooms?
Teachers can start each class with a short mindfulness exercise, like a few minutes of deep breathing or, guided visualization. It sets a calm tone and helps students transition into learning.
And what should a teacher do if a child is resistant to mindfulness practices?
It's important to be patient and understanding. Sometimes offering choices like different activities or shorter sessions can help. Encouraging participation without pressure can foster a more open mindset.
Oh, and what role does play have in teaching mindfulness to kids?
Oh, play is essential. Mindful games like observing nature of mindful movement make the practice enjoyable and engaging. Kids learn best when they're having fun.
Oh, great point. How can mindfulness influence social skills in children?
Mindfulness enhances empathy and emotional awareness. When kids are more in tune with their own emotions, they become better at understanding others, leading to improved social interactions.
That is also a great thing to say. Can you suggest any mindfulness activities that promote social skills?
Absolutely. Group activities like cooperative games or mindful sharing circles allow children to practice listening and empathy. These foster a sense of community and connection.
Also, as we approach to the end of our discussion, what advice would you give to parents and educators wanting to start their mindfulness journey?
Start small and be consistent. Mindfulness is a practice and it takes time. Celebrate small wins and remember that every moment counts in this journey.
Thank you, Kanishka, for sharing your insights today. This information will surely help our listeners. But
Thank you
also,
for having me, Manya.
thank you. Let's explore how mindfulness can be tailored for different age groups. And we will continue our talk with Kanishka about what specific techniques work best for younger kids. Secondly, it's interesting to think about how can own mindfulness practices can influence our children. How can parents model mindfulness effectively? Or thirdly, we would say I've heard about the benefits of mindfulness in reducing stress. Can you share how this applies to children facing academic pressures? We will all discuss it all with Ms. Kanishka. Plus, mindfulness can also be about sensory experiences, and we encourage kids to engage their senses in a mindful way. It seems that mindfulness can enhance creativity, and it might create activities incorporate mindfulness practices. As your host, I would always want my audience to be curious about the role of technology, mindfulness, and everything that one needs to know about practices. Plus, consistency seems to be the key in developing mindfulness habits. How can families create a routine that includes mindfulness? Or what about mindfulness practices during challenging moments, like conflicts among siblings? Or how can parents guide their kids? There are plenty of doubts that go around our mind regarding mindfulness. I imagine parents may have questions about integrating mindfulness into busy life. So, also, starting this podcast, Absolutely, I would like to thank you to our audience for tuning in. Remember, mindfulness is a journey, and every small step counts. Until next time. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Kanishka, for having us here.
Thank you once again, Manya, for having me. I hope from this we can inspire even more parents and educators to incorporate mindfulness into our lives. Have a great day.
Hello, guys, welcome back. And now we're going to continue the mindfulness for kids. And we have a guest again, Miss Kanishka, which is also my school counselor and a doctor. So, Kanishka, let's dive deep into the world of mindfulness and how it can help kids like us navigate our busy lives.
That's right, Manya. I remember the first time I learned about mindfulness. I was feeling overwhelmed with school activities and other stuff going on. My teacher introduced me to a simple breathing exercise, and it's completely changed how I felt instantly.
It's amazing how just taking a moment can make a big difference. So, what exactly is mindfulness, and what is mindfulness? As as audience, what we look out for mindfulness, and what we explore for mindfulness. Yes, Kanishka.
Mindfulness is all about being fully present in the moment. It means paying attention to our thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without judgment.
So it's not just about meditation because all of us just confuse mindfulness with meditation, yoga, or anything of spirituality. We confuse it with that. What do you think, Kanishka?
Exactly. While meditation is a part of mindfulness, it's more about bringing that awareness into our everyday lives. For example, when you eat your favorite snack, being mindful means savoring each bite instead of scrolling through your phone.
And that makes so much sense. Why do you think mindfulness is particularly important for kids? Like as for humans, we all are having the urge to attain the mindfulness or the peace that we acquire. What do you think?
Mindfulness helps us manage our emotions, be it a young child, be it an elder woman, or be it somebody else. It helps us to manage our stress better. It can improve our concentration, making it easier to learn and have fun with friends, irrespective of the gender or the age of the person.
Mindfulness techniques for kids. Let's talk about some techniques kids can try. What's a simple one we can start with, or what's a simple one a kid is like, yeah, that's a cakewalk and I can do it? What do you think?
You know, a great starting point is a breathing exercise. When I was a child, my teacher taught me uh, this like kids can sit comfortably. All right, they can close their eyes, take deep breaths, inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, and exhale for 6.
And how does that help?
Well, it's interesting, you know. It calms the nervous system and helps us focus. When we are stressed or anxious, our breath becomes shallow and we lose focus. But deep breathing brings us back to a calm state. And that's what mindfulness is all about.
Oh, what about the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique? I've heard of that. We've all heard of that, yes? Yes, we've
Yes, yes,
all
yes.
heard of that.
Absolutely. Great. It's a fun way to engage our senses. You know, kids can look around and find 5 things they can see, 4 things they can touch, 3 things they can hear, 2 things they can smell, and 1 thing they can taste. It's actually a very good exercise, and you know, it can be taken as a game in the classroom. It's actually very engaging.
That sounds like a cool game. I would love to play it with my younger siblings, and I would love to play it with anybody who's fun to be around. That sounds really cool. And what about mindfulness in a daily life? I mean, like that is something we all want. Like we want mindfulness, we want practicality, but at the same time we look out for that peace moment in our daily lives, which is like so hectic and just filled with everything being so packed up. How do we find mindfulness in a daily life?
You know, mindfulness, it can be practiced anywhere. At home, kids can take mindful showers, noticing how the water feels. In school, focusing on the teacher's voice instead of distractions can help. You do not have to make separate timetables for practicing mindfulness.
Oh, okay. And what about friendships? How can mindfulness improve those relationships? Because I have seen relationships crumble because of people like not giving too much time or attention, or they're just spilling it all over because of without a peace of mind. How do you cope up with that, and what do you suggest?
When kids are mindful, they're more aware of their feelings and the feelings of others. This way, they can lead to better communication, awareness, and empathy.
And the science behind mindfulness, what is it? I'm really curious about the science. How does mindfulness affect our brains? Like, do we coordinate with it, or do we relate with it, or what does really happen in our brain? Because it's just a nervous system packed around, and how does it help with it? What do you think?
Mindfulness is as interesting as our brain chemistry. Research shows that mindfulness can actually change the brain structure. It increases the thickness of the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for decision making and emotional regulation. You see how incredible it is.
Yeah, that is incredible. So practicing mindfulness can literally make us better at handling our emotions. As for what you've told me, I seriously think that it really does. What do you think?
Yes, 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 and a yes. Exactly. Studies have found that kids who practice mindfulness show improvements in attention, behavior, and overall well-being.
And don't you think there are some challenges to practicing mindfulness? And what about the challenges sometimes? It's like so hard to focus.
Absolutely. Well, greatest, I would say the greatest enemy of mindfulness is distractions. And distractions are everywhere. It's common for kids to struggle with staying present, but it's all right. It
I
improves with time.
Yes, yes, surely. But I also sometimes think that finding my mind to wander during mindfulness exercises, like, why is it like so distracting? Like, why can I not just put my mind into one thing?
It's okay. It's normal. I deal with this thing almost every day. The key is to gently bring your focus back without judging yourself. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of time.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna stick myself into a more clearer goal. That's okay. And what do you think about the role of parents and educators? How can parents help support their kids in being more mindful? Does it really help, or is the phrase right? The roots have to be stronger for the tree to grow. What do you think?
Parents can model mindfulness by practicing it themselves. They can create family routines that can improve mindfulness, like a short breathing exercise before dinner. This way, the kid also learns the significance of mindfulness from an early age.
And what about teachers? What about them?
Teachers play a vital role in teaching the kid how to be mindful and the other mindfulness exercises, since majority of the time the student stays with the teacher more and the parents less. Well, the teachers can incorporate mindfulness into their classrooms by starting the day with a few minutes of quiet time or using mindfulness breaks between lessons.
Hmm, that is a task. But coming to the conclusion, today we have learned so much about mindfulness and how it can help us in our daily lives.
Yes, of course. Whether it's through breathing exercises or grounding techniques, there are many ways for kids to practice mindfulness. And the best part is they just don't work for kids. Like you can practice the same exercises even for the elder people.
Yes, exactly. So let's all encourage everyone to give it a try. Remember, mindfulness is a journey and every small step counts. And we would like to thank Kanishka once again for teaching us so much about mindfulness for kids. You have enlightened us with this session. Thank you so much, Kanishka.